With the Sunday footy show on this Mother's Day, not sure how it happened, but Port Adelaide are the best team in the competition. It happened in the blink of night. Just all of a sudden, we woke up and they were the best team, Groff. 18-point win yesterday over Freo.
And it's been wonderful to see. 13-16-94 up against Fremantle, 11-10-76. Wingard with 5. Mitchell, who had a really good game coming in. White, 2 speedsters kicking 2 goals each. Clark kicked 3, Subin.
And Robbie Gray
5.
again, who no doubt will be in Laudo's All-Australian team a little bit later on in the show. He's been the informed player in the
You would hope so. And Kane Corns also, who had another game. But we've got a very special guest, someone who played his 150th game. He's leading the Coleman medal with 25 goals. He's just a new man since crossing from Richmond. Jay Shultz, welcome to the show. And sitting on top of the ladder, how good does it feel?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. And it's a good place to be. The boys are playing really good footy, good hard footy at the moment, and that was a fantastic effort by the boys yesterday. It was a really good win.
It was, because Fremantle, I thought, played quite well for at least 3 quarters. They had a real go at you, but you stood up to the pressure, which was probably the most promising sign.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we knew it was going to be a really defensive game from both sides, and we knew that if we brought our defensive best, you know, it was going to hold us in good stead to win the game. And luckily enough, we were able to break it open a little bit in the last quarter and get some score on the board. So we always knew it was going to be a low-scoring game, but we were lucky enough to open it up in the last quarter.
Hey Jay, the sign of a good club is when players just keep improving, and this year it's happened again. Pollock, who's come over from Brisbane, and Matty White, who was probably your teammate at Richmond back in the day. Why is it that players just get better at Port Adelaide? There's obviously a special formula there.
Yeah, those guys have been terrific for us since coming over. You know, they've both worked really hard. You know, Ken sat them both down when they first got her and told him what he expected, and that was hard work defensively. And they both have just given their all through the pre-season. They worked extremely hard, and they're both seeing rewards for us now. You know, everyone says that their offensive stuff is great, but if you have a look at some of their defensive stuff, it's some of the best we've got in our side. And that's what Kenny expects, and it's all we all expect from each other. So they've been great, and I've got no doubt that they're going to have really good second half of the years as well.
Got a bit of work to do, Fremantle, with their forwards. Pavlich didn't have much of a game. Jarman Impey did a great job on Helen Ballantyne, who didn't get a goal. So he's coming along beautifully as well.
Yeah, he's really good. You know, we've been really excited about the way he plays his football. He's super quick, got great closing speed, and like you said, Pav sort of got shut out of the game by Bobby, who's been in some of his career best form as well the last few weeks. So that's great for our backmen. They're quite young down there, but they're really working well together. They help each other as much as they can, and they're coming along really well for us. It holds us in really good stead.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Crumpet, everyone thinks they're the fittest player in the competition and they're training the hardest, but what's the difference with Port Adelaide? Because every club says that we train really hard, but I've spoken to a few Port Adelaide players who say there's no fitness like the way we're training at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's definitely from my perspective as well, especially since Burjo's got here. Obviously, it's been pretty well documented that he came, and you know, when he first got here, they asked him, you know, what he'd learnt most from soccer, and he said how much more you can train. And you know, I wasn't overly wrapped with that, but it's definitely seeing the benefits from it now at the moment. He works us as hard as we can. We know it's high risk, some of the stuff we do during pre-season, but it's definitely high reward, and I think you can see it coming out in our games. You
look like you got some sort of Beatles hairdo going at the moment. You got the brush fall going this morning. Shultzy, tell us about that.
Sorry, mate. I probably had a hat on earlier, but not a big one from Hair Brownie. You know, I usually wear a hat or a beanie.
Hey, Shultzy, what about your goal kicking? It's a disgrace in the AFL competition at the moment how bad it is, yet your figures are better than anyone's. You're 25-5 in general and 21-2 from set shots, leading the Coleman medal, as we know. Have you always been a good set shot, or is there a formula that you've worked to and it's all about routine?
Look, I think I've always been a reasonable kick, but definitely the work that I've put into my kick has definitely made me one of the better kicks of the competition. And you know, they always say practice makes perfect, and I'm a true believer in that. And then it has to be, you know, all about your routine, something that you're comfortable with, something that you pick yourself, and then it's just doing it over and over again. Our club really values it. You know, we know it's one of the most important parts of the game. So we have goal kicking that's in every training session that we do, especially during pre-season. We do a massive workload on it, and during the season as well, we always make sure that there's kicking in our actual main training sessions. So it's something that we value really highly. It's something that we challenge each other of, everyone in the group, not just the forwards. So it's a big part of the game for us, and you know, I take great pride in being able to you know, make the boys feel confident that when I've got the ball that they can, you know, they're pretty certain that they know the ball's going back to the middle and they can have a rest. So that's very important for me, and that's my job. I'm there to kick goals, so it's something that I have to work on and I continue to work on every day.
I read today in the media over here that you want to be a coach when you finish, and you've got a particular interest in goal kicking coaching. What exactly have you done to make it so precise? What have you fixed?
Look, for me, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but for me it's about knowing exactly what happens with my kick when things go wrong and when things go right. You know, I know that I'm either going to kick off my 8th or my 10th step as I'm coming into my run up. I know that if I'm going to miss, I'm generally going to miss left because I drop the ball inside a little bit. So I did a heap of work for about a month or so about overcompensating to try and get that ball right and hanging it out over my right leg more than my left. And it's all those little things. It's about, for me, it was about narrowing down and trying to create the most consistent kick that I could, and knowing what's going to go wrong if something's going to go wrong, and so that I can try and, you know, get rid of those errors to make sure that I have a consistent straight kick all the time.
Beautiful. Kids should be listening to that. It's pretty easy.
Did you
Drop
do
it
that,
straight.
Bill? Did you have the same routine?
No, you're right. You drop it straight. It goes straight more time.
Did you know what leg you kicked off? What number step?
Between 10 and 24.
What about you, Lordo? Did you have a...
I didn't, but when Dave Whedon got to Western, that's something he brought into the club, yeah.
Hey, the lip looks better, Shultz.
Yeah, it's getting there. I wasn't a pretty man there for a while. I think my modelling career might be coming back, but nah. Yeah, look, that was one of those things, not something I particularly enjoyed, but it's come up good, so hopefully it'll keep healing.
Should have gave a warning there if you're eating breakfast. Just look away a while ago.
Hey, Hutchie, just while Shultz is here, Fremantle Dockers, we've touched it for a while. Have they missed out on their premiership window? I think as every week goes by, you ask the questions, Bill, because I think there's teams like Port Adelaide where if you don't take the chance when you get it, you just don't know who the next team on the rise is. And I think there's a few that have gone past Fremantle, and they haven't got a heap to come back in, which is the biggest worry.
Yeah, well, McFarlane and Zach Dawson, they missed them yesterday.
They haven't got really a main forward, so I just wonder, apart from Pav, who can kick their score for them.
Well, Ross Lyon wasn't happy yesterday. He had a crack at Daniel Pearce on the bench here. He's starting to get a bit shirty too. If we have a look at this, look at here.
What did he tell him, Bill?
He said, mate, my preference is Gatorade.
Pierce what?
He said, Pierce, you're coming off.
Votes, Croft?
Yeah, the votes, it was very hard because I thought they had so many wonderful players, Port Adelaide, but Wingard with his 5. Fife was great. Boak, a really good game. And Gray, his second half, he had 25 touches in the second half, very quite early. Shultz was a 6, I just couldn't get him in. Kane Corns, I would have loved to give him a vote. So, and goal kicking, it's all about the throw, isn't it, Lordo?
Yes, it is. And Shultz, they give you a break. You haven't got a game next week. Burjo giving you some days off.
Yeah, they've given us some time off, which is nice. I think we're at the club Monday, Tuesday, and then we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, and then we'll come back and train on Sunday. So we get a full week of training leading into Hawthorn, which is going to be a huge game for us.
Good luck. It's going to be fascinating. Big game at the two best teams in the competition right now. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Jay Shultz joining us from Adelaide.